how you can come to the United States and do a professional internship in the field of your study. Um, so my name is Carlos. I live in San Francisco. That's where our company's based. My company, Global Monday, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. And then I'm going to show you some of the open positions that we have for this summer and September and the end of the year. So you can select which ones you're interested in and how our process works in order to find you the internship of your dreams. So let's get started. This is not a long presentation, so hopefully you're not going to get bored. I know some companies have long presentations and boring presentations. Hopefully, I'm going to try to keep it brief, short, and to the point. So share. Simon, can you see that?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So what do we do? At Global Monday, we run the J1 Internship and Trainee Program, which is a program that's governed by the Department of State, which is a branch of the United States government under the educational branch. So this is a program that has rules, that is monitored by the Department of State, and that gives you the security that you are going to be on a program that's going to be monitored throughout your program. Which is very important because this is going to be linked to your university, to your career, and eventually to your degree. What we do is we do international college recruitment like we're doing right now. We connect universities all over the world with American companies, in this case, hotels all over the country. We have representatives in 30 plus countries that send us resumes, candidates, interested students, and we don't have intermediaries. So we work directly with universities, and we've been working with your college for many, many years. We've visited many times. Unfortunately, we're not able to visit now until further notice, but hopefully we'll be there soon. So we are a full service company. What does that mean? It means that when we talk for the very first time today, until you finish your program, we're going to be in constant, not communication, but we're going to be available to you for anything that you need. We also have our program fees, and our program structure includes everything you need to participate on an internship in the United States. There's nothing that's left out of the program. So we want to make sure that we are a full service company. We don't just provide you a couple of things as a service. So in order to participate on this program, you need a sponsorship. Sponsorship means you need a company to sponsor you, to issue your official documentation, and to monitor your stay while you're here. So we work with Department of State sponsors directly to issue a document that you need in order to get a visa. So if any one of you finds a quote unquote job or internship in the United States right now, you can't just go to the embassy in Bern or Geneva and say, hi, I got an internship in the US. Can you please give me a J1 visa? They're going to ask you for sponsorship. They're going to ask you, where is your form, which is called DS 2019? Where is the form that allows you to apply for a J1 visa? And you're like, well, I don't know. I don't have a sponsor. And they're going to say, go home, get a sponsor, and then reapply. So we work with those sponsors. And I'll tell you how that works in a minute without getting too technical. So what is the eligibility? We have two different programs, as the first bullet point says. We have an internship program and we have a trainee program. What does this mean? This means that most of you can participate on this program, and most of you are going to be eligible to this program during your studies and after your studies. So technically, you can do this program more than once if you wanted to. So the internship program is for university students who are currently studying in university in their field of study. So if you're studying hotel management, the only internship under the J1 visa that you can do is in hotel management or hospitality. So within that umbrella of hotel management, you can do food and beverage, or you can do front office, or you can do finances, accounting, revenue management, of course, if you have the experience. But you have to be currently enrolled in university, or you must have graduated less than 1 year ago. So you have 1 year after you graduate to be an intern on this program too. The other one is the trainee program, which is for people who already graduated more than a year ago or less than a year ago, but they already have 1 year of work experience in their resume. So that's more for experienced J1 candidates. So let's say you are in second or third year of hotel management. You can come here, do 12 months, go back home, finish your school, graduate, get 1 year of experience, and then you can come back as a trainee after 2 years between intern and trainee. But we have many people who do 2 internships, meaning one in the second year, you go back to school for another year, and then you come back on the 4th year to another internship. So you can, while you're studying, you can do 2 internships in the US. What do we offer and how's the process? So very simple, very straightforward. We send all of our open positions to your university for them to promote. You would send us your resume, and then once we get your resume, we would send you what's called our agreement. Our agreement explains all of our process and all of our fees. Since this is I told you at the beginning, this is a program that has sponsorship and it's governed and it's monitored, there are certain fees that are involved on this program that we have to pay the government. Unfortunately, we're going to talk about this later, but the fees for the United States program, the internship, are pretty expensive if you ask me. But the good news is, I mean, if you stay in Europe, you don't have to, most of the time, you don't have to pay any fees. You just get a position, you go and you start training. In the United States, it's different because you need a sponsorship and you need a visa and you need specific forms and you need fees that we need to pay the government. So yes, it's an expensive program, but the benefit of the United States internships under this program is that they are really well paid. So I heard stories of internships in Europe where they pay around 300, 350, maybe 500 euros a month, which is great because you don't have transportation costs to go to another country or even stay in Switzerland. Housing might be cheaper, and you don't need to apply for a visa in most cases. In the United States, most of our clients and most of the hotels pay, it depends on the city and it depends on the type of position and your experience, but they pay around $15 an hour to $30 an hour for experienced candidates in big cities. So in order to know how much you would get in a year, you would just double that and add 1,000. So $15 an hour would be around $30,000 a year. $30 an hour would be around $60,000 a year. So if you do the calculations of how much you would be making per hour, per month, and compare it to what you would get in Europe, although Europe is going to be cheaper, then you're going to realize that, okay, so the fees that are pretty expensive for a United States program. However, I'm going to make a lot more money than if I stayed in Switzerland. So I'm not trying to sell this program as you're going to make a lot of money, because that's not the point of this program. But very likely it's a good investment if you think about it. Forget about your career. Of course, it's a good investment for your career, but in the terms of how much you're going to have to invest at the beginning to get this program, you're very likely going to get it back in money more than experience too. So once you agree to those terms, which are not exclusive, by the way, this is not a contract, this is just an agreement between you and us. We would have a Zoom interview to learn about your career goals, learn about your career objectives, what you're looking for. Are you looking for front office? Are you looking for food and beverage? Are you looking for something that's non-operational in nature? Do you want to do something different? And then we would present to you all of the open positions that we have, that we're going to see a couple of examples at the end, that match your criteria, that match what you're looking to do and where you want to apply. What we don't do, and other companies do, and I'm not going to talk bad about other companies, I'm just going to talk well about what we do, is first of all, we do not charge any fees before we get you an offer letter, a written offer letter, and you accept it. We don't charge any deposits for interviewing. We don't charge any pre-program deposits. We don't charge anything until we talk to you. We know what you're looking for. We present you to the hotel and the position that you chose. You interview and you get accepted and you get an offer letter and you accept. If you don't accept the offer letter, you don't have to pay anything. If you don't like the options that we have, you don't have to pay anything. So we only get paid because we have to pay those fees, as I told you before, after you are 100% in and you accept the position. And then we start rolling with the visa documentation. Usually our process is around 2 weeks. Now with things are a little slower, it takes maybe 3 to 4 weeks. So it's still very fast compared to most of the industry, which is at around 10 weeks. So we're kind of at 20% of what other companies do in terms of processing your visa, which allows us to, you can apply closer to your start date, that because there's no so much rush. Some companies, what they do is they start placing people for like January of next year in July because they need that time. We don't. Right now we're hiring for May and June, so we can do things faster. Then after you get accepted, we would work on your visa documentation, which is very simple. We just need your passport, a couple of signatures on official boring forms, and information about you, your biographical information that we have to send the embassy. Then we would do a pre-interview with the embassy preparation and pre-departure orientation on Zoom or on one of these platforms to make sure that you know what to expect when you go, not only to an interview with an American client, but also to the embassy, what to expect. Many people are like scared of the US embassy or getting a US visa. You shouldn't be scared. It's not that complicated. We make it easy. We keep it simple. And we tell you everything you need to know before you go, so that when you're in that waiting room waiting for the visa to be issued, everyone else around you is nervous because they don't know what to expect. You're not nervous. You know what to expect because we prepared you for it. And also we give you post-arrival support during your stay here, and we do monitor you throughout the year with surveys and evaluations once a month. So we only work with the best hotels in the United States. We don't work with 3-star hotels. We don't work, although 3-star hotels are great, but we work with 4 and 5. We don't work with really small cities in the middle of nowhere. If we do have small cities, it's small cities. It's in great locations, in great states, and with great hotels. So not everyone is going to want to have a 5-star hotel in downtown Manhattan. Not everyone's ready for New York, which is a pretty big city and overwhelming to many people. Some people might want a smaller city. Even if you want a smaller city, the hotels are great. So the experience is there. We always check that the hotels that we work with provide a solid training program and a training plan, regardless of where they're located or what branding they have. But if that's important to you, great. One of the things that we talk when we first talk about your career goals and objectives, like I said before, is we're going to ask you for your priorities. So is your priority the department, so front office or food and beverage? And then if that's your priority, then you could do that anywhere because that's your priority. Or is your priority, I only want to work for a Marriott brand? Then that means that you are open to doing both front office, food and beverage. If your priority is the city, we have a lot of people who only want New York or only want Miami. Then we're going to ask you, why is that your priority? Why is the city your priority? What can the city provide to your career or to your professional development more than the department or more than the hotel brand? So those are the things that we talk about at the beginning because we want to understand what you are looking for. This is not my career. This is your career. So we have to make sure you understand what you want. What other companies also do is, and I want to make sure this is clear, is they get your resume, they put it on an email, and then they email 50 different hotels like going fishing, like saying, hey, does anyone like, I'm going to use Simon as an example. Does anyone like Simon profile? Does anyone want to interview Simon? And a couple of hotels say, yeah, I'm interested in Simon. But what makes us believe that Simon is interested in those hotels? So we don't go fishing with your resume. We ask you what you want. We ask you what position you want. We show you all of the open positions that match your criteria. And then you tell us where you want our resume to be sent to. So this is you choosing, not the hotel, not us. Of course, after the interview, the hotel is going to choose whether they liked you enough or not. We have start dates every month, and we have most of our positions are operational in nature in front office, food and beverage, and other departments. But know that when you are in front office, you're not going to be checking in and checking out people all day for 12 months. That's not what this program is about. This program has a training plan that's, again, monitored by the Department of State and the government, which has to have rotations. So this program needs to have rotations. It's required to have rotations on paper. So you're going to have, on 12 months, you're going to have either 3 or 4 phases within front office. So you're going to do reservations, you're going to do concierge, you're going to do checkout, you might do audit. There's a lot of things that you might do within front office, but you're going to be rotating within that department. Why we are different, as I said before, here's a very quick chart so you can kind of compare us to other companies. We don't charge for interviewing. It's all about you. This is your resume, not ours. Our insurance coverage is higher than the industry standard. The government requires you to have a minimum amount of insurance to travel here, but our sponsors have a higher, much higher coverage, which is very important if you have an emergency in the country. Our pricing is more competitive and more inclusive. So you might see other pricings that are lower, but then you have to pay for other things separately. We include everything. I told you we're all inclusive. We create the training plan with the hotels for you and for the hotel. Other companies, what they do is they send you and the hotel a template that's, trust me, it's 18 pages long. You don't want to have to create that yourself. Our turnaround for visa is 1 to 2 weeks. And then we have a 24-hour guaranteed reply. So we are all about service. If a company says they answer an email or a text or WhatsApp or whatever within 24 hours, and they put it in writing and they put it on their website, it means they have to do it. You can't just say you have a 24-hour guaranteed reply and not do it if you put it on your website. So we do have a 24-hour guaranteed reply. We do put it on our website, and it's real. So any questions you have throughout the process or throughout your program, 24-hour guaranteed reply. We also help you with your interview for the company, with a pre-departure orientation, with the embassy interview. We help you when you arrive in the country, and we provide you in-country support. Other companies don't prepare you for an interview. They don't help you with the embassy. They just ship everything, and you're on your own. And then usually we have a personalized point of communication, so you're not going to have to be emailing different people for different things. You have one point of contact at our company, and that's your person to go to. I don't know how many of you are using Facebook these days. It seems like no one's using Facebook these days. But if you are using Facebook, or you have a friend who has Facebook, we have 100% and 5-star reviews. We have over 300, 350. Of course, not everyone leaves one, but the ones who do left us 5 stars. So feel free to check them out. We're going to soon have a review system in Google, and some of you might not even know what Facebook is. But anyway, so now I'm going to open it up for questions. I want this to be fluid. I want this to be a conversation, not just me talking like it's been so far. Hopefully, I've given you a brief overview of what this program is and how we work. But I'm open for questions. The whole point of this is answering questions. And then we're going to look at some open positions that we have both in various departments. We also have culinary positions, a lot of culinary positions in great hotels with great chefs. So Simon, you want to mediate the questions, or I mean, anyone can just unmute, whatever you prefer.
Yeah, however the students would like to do it. So it is fine for me. They can also write it in the chat and we can pick it up from there.
Okay.
But maybe before like some of the questions come in, could you explain a bit the fee structure you have? So how much they would need to pay?
Yes. So the program for 12 months that includes the paid internship. So all of our internships are paid. We don't offer unpaid internships. And none of them are below, I would say, $15 an hour. Our program includes insurance for 12 months. It includes all Department of State fees. The only thing that our program fee doesn't include, and the reason why it's because we cannot pay for it, is the visa fee. So the embassy fee at the embassy in Switzerland or wherever you apply, which is $160 payable directly to the embassy. We're not involved in that. And of course, flights to and from the United States. But our program, our complete program, is around $4,000. And it includes the paid internship, the insurance, the visa documents, everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And how does it look in terms of housing? Like if
Good
students
question.
work in like, especially like the big cities,
Yes,
do
good
you assist or the
question.
hotels assist?
Good question. So yes, so we provide you with a lot of information and resources for housing. Most of our clients, I would say 90% of our clients, allow you to stay at the property for between 1 to 2 weeks upon arrival, just to get your bearings and get to know the area and finalize an apartment. But housing is your responsibility. So we're going to give you a lot of resources for you to do research about housing before you travel. So the more information you collect, the more you learn about the area, the neighborhoods, housing before you travel, the less headache when you're there, the less time you're going to waste. And you might find cheaper options than if you're in a rush to find housing. So in big cities, and that's why it's important that we prepare you for the trip. As I said before, all those preparations that we do one-on-one with you. So if you're in downtown New York at the Intercontinental Times Square, which I was there a couple of weeks ago visiting, beautiful property, but it's in the middle of one of the biggest cities in the world. So you should not expect to live close by because it's really expensive. So if you're in downtown New York doing a training in a hotel in downtown New York, you should expect to commute, travel back and forth from work for at least an hour. So you would take a bus, you would take a subway, you would take a subway and a bus, and that's just New York life. So most New Yorkers do that. You're not going to be walking to the hotel unless you are a multimillionaire and you can rent an apartment a block away. Then that's fine. But not everyone can do that. So in smaller cities, housing, of course, is going to be cheaper and the commute is going to be shorter. But in big cities, expect to travel, expect to take public transportation. It's reality, it's normal life for everyone. And if you're here, you're going to live like everyone else. But the first week or 2 weeks, usually around 10 days, you can stay at the hotel. And think about these hotels have an ADR, average daily rate, of like $500 to $700. So you're basically staying for free, and in 10 days is like $7,000 of housing. But of course, you're going to have to share with another intern. You're not going to stay in a suite in the penthouse of the hotel. And also expect to live like you're living right now, like a student. It's not bad. It's like we all lived when we were studying, sharing a room, sharing a dorm, sharing an apartment.
Yeah, I mean, it's very quiet today. So do you think you want to go ahead with sharing some of the positions?
Sure. Anyone has any questions? I cannot have been. Don't be shy. Remember, if you're shy, you're not going to be able to nail an interview with an American employer. So show me you're not shy. Show me you can do this. Show me you can raise your hand and stand out of the crowd. There's what, 35 people here?
45.
45. Okay, 30, 40. Who can stand out and say, I'm here, I have a question, show everyone how it's done. Come on. Someone. Okay.
Maybe just another question, Carlos. One
Yes.
that came up in previous presentations for US about the net salary. So if you're mentioning, let's say, $15 an hour, so how much do you
Good
think
question.
that would realistically be like on their bank account or on their hand
Okay.
cash at the
So
end of the month?
okay, so 15 an hour times, and that's average. You might get 13 an hour to 25 an hour. It depends on, but let's take 15, which is on the lower end. So 15 times 40, which is 40 hours, is 600. Times 4 is 2,400. So you would make $2,400 a month on your paycheck, and then you have to pay taxes on that on your salary, like everywhere else. So, but it's going to depend on the state. So so federal taxes, which is a government countrywide taxes, it depends on how much money you make. So the more money you make, the more money you pay, and the less money you make, the less money you pay. There's brackets. So if you pay between certain amount and certain amount, you pay 10%. If you make between certain amount and certain amount, you pay 15%, and it goes up. So that's online, you can find it out. So based on how much you make, you're going to pay that amount of taxes. It's between, I would say, 15%, 20% for this range of hourly rate. And then the state tax is around 8 to 10%. It depends on the states. But some states don't, you don't have to pay state tax, like Texas or Nevada or Florida. So you make 10% more than someone living in California. So 2,400 roughly, let's say you take 20%. So you keep like $2,000, something like that per month. There's at $15 an hour, which would equate to a city that's not New York. New York usually pays a little more because cost of living is higher, housing is higher. But in smaller cities, you can find an apartment, share an apartment for like 500, something like that. Of course, in New York, you can find something for like 2,000, but you're not going to do that. Did that answer your question? But taxes is tricky because there's no one answer to everything. It depends on the state. It depends on how much you make. Some hotels in some states are required to pay extra, like an hour and a half for overtime. So if you're making 20 an hour for 40 hours, and then you work, like most of our intercontinental clients, they need 50 hours a week. So for the first 40, you make 20. For the last 10 up to 50, you make 30 an hour because it's hour and a half. So there's no easy answer on how much you're going to make. It's a matter of just getting your calculator out, looking at the job descriptions, and typing it up. But it's around, let's say, 15, 20% in taxes. The more you make, the more you pay. So usually accountants here say, if you're paying a lot of taxes, that's good news. It means you're making a lot of money. But I don't agree with that. Okay, so I'll go ahead and share some open positions. So let me share this again. Oh, I'm still sharing. Okay, great. So let's do Washington, D.C. So this is the Hotel Hive in Washington, D.C. So all of our job descriptions are the same. This is what you're going to get from Simon Arnoelia. This is a boutique hotel in Washington, D.C. As you can see here.
Carlos?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. We still see the question slide from the previous presentation.
Sorry. I know I have to switch to the other one. I'm sorry.
No worries. Thank you.
So more actions, stop sharing, open share tray. share opportunities. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I'm trying to find the tab. Here we go. All opportunities, share. There we go. Is that better?
Thank you.
Okay. So here's an example. So so these are our food and beverage positions in Washington, D.C. So if someone is interested in Washington, D.C., we would send them this with food and beverage and front office. If you only want front office in Washington, D.C., we would send you the list of all of our front office positions in Washington, D.C., if your requirements are that specific. So here's just an example. This is Intercontinental DC in the Wharf. There's a food and beverage management and training. All of our job descriptions are exactly the same, one page. This is 20 an hour. So this would be 40,000 a year, 40 hours a week, start date any month of the year. Duration is 12 months, the location, and this is 1 to 2 weeks based on availability. We also disclose the names of the hotels. We give you the links to the hotels so you can go and check them out yourself. We don't hide anything. Other companies tell you amazing opportunity in New York in a luxury hotel, but they don't tell you the brand, they don't tell you the name, they don't give you the website. There's nothing to hide here. So we give you everything. Intercontinental Cleveland, which is kind of in the area. This one, of course, it's a smaller city. They pay less, $12.50 an hour, because housing is really cheap here compared. Intercontinental Buckhead, Atlanta is another one. This one pays $16 an hour. It's the bigger city. As you can see here, housing is also there. Here is Marriott in Atlanta. This one is a food and beverage training, and it pays $10.35 an hour. And you're like, wait a minute, you said 15 an hour minimum. Well, yes, but for food and beverage, you get tips. So if the salary is lower per hour and it's food and beverage, it's very likely you're going to be making tips. And the way tips work in the United States, for those of you who don't know, is servers or food and beverage attendants, usually in the USA, they don't make a fixed salary that's higher compared to other people. So what they do is they have a lower entry point salary, like per hour, and then they make tips. And tips in the United States is something cultural. So you have to tip between 15% and 20%, sometimes even more. So imagine if you serve a table, those of you interested in food and beverage in a hotel, and they spend $100 for the meal, then you would get $15 in tips from one table. And you're going to do more than one table an hour. So you're looking at $30 an hour in tips. So that's why this is $10.35 an hour. That's what the hotel pays you. And then you make tips from customers. Of course, your service has to be really, really good to make tips. But standard, people leave 15%. So let me go to the next one. Another example. Let's do rooms division in New York. Some examples. This is a Sofitel in New York. So in our job descriptions, you would see right here where it says previous front office experience and French language preferred. So if you do have front office experience in a similarly rated hotel and you speak French, very likely you're going to do really well at this interview. However, if you have front office experience but you don't speak French, you can still apply because it says preferred. It doesn't say required. But if you don't have front office experience, you should not apply to this hotel. And that's when we come in and we help you decide. The stipend is 15 an hour. This one provides 7 days of housing. There's the link. Gurney's in Montauk. This is a resort next to the water, a beach. It still pays pretty high, 18 an hour. Here they offer front office, human resources, and marketing internships. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. The Elliott Boston, this is a very, very well-known boutique hotel in Boston. It's a beautiful property. This is at Newbury in Boston. This one pays 26 an hour, which is it's a lot. But they require private food and beverage experience. So for experienced positions and experienced candidate, you would get more an hour for sure. Any culinaries in the room? I can show you some of the culinaries. And this is Miami or the Florida area. We work with the Intercontinental Miami. So Intercontinental is our biggest hotel, our biggest client. We work with them all over the country and most of their big city properties. We also have Hyatt in Orlando. This is a pre-opening opportunity. So you would be involved with working with a pre-opening team. Housekeeping supervisor and front office. 24 North Boutique Hotel in Key West, Florida. That's at the end of the Keys in the Caribbean, outside of Miami. This Andel Inn, it's a Marriott Bonvoy property. In Key Island, South Carolina. This one pays $13 an hour because Key Island, I mean, it's South Carolina, it's not a big city, it's just a beach resort and golf resort. And then you can stay at the hotel for $340 a month, which is ridiculously cheap if you think about it. This is another front office program in Paradise, also in Florida. So anyway, these are some examples. The Lowe's, Miami Beach, also our client. They have food and beverage, culinary, and front office. Westin in Fort Lauderdale. So there's a lot of things in Florida. There's a lot of things in the New York area. There's another one, the Betsy, beautiful, beautiful property. And then JW Marriott in Miami, we have all three of their hotels for all three positions, culinary, front office, and food and beverage. Beautiful, beautiful hotel too. And there's a golf resort. This one pays $13,000 a year, which you would have to divide by 2 to see how much it's hourly. So 19 an hour, which is pretty good. West, another beach resort. The Gates, another beach resort. So anyway, that's pretty much it. That's just a sample of all the positions we have. We have also in LA, in San Francisco. We have events companies in New York for people who are interested in events, banquets, and food and beverage. We have restaurant management. We have culinary. We have, you name it.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. Question.
Where can we find all of these offers to look properly?
So is this Martina?
Yes.
Hi, Martina. Very nice
Hello.
meeting you. One of my daughter's names is Martina. That's why I love that name. Anyway, so these are, we send these every month to Simon and Noelia. So they already have a very extensive list of our open positions. And it's just links. It's just one page each. So ask them, and if you're looking for something specifically that they don't have right now, let us know and we'll send it to you.
Okay, because I did the global business and marketing pathway, so I was looking for something more related to business or especially to marketing.
Okay, so but in a hotel?
Yeah, or
Okay.
also in a company actually.
Okay, so as I said before, if you're studying hotel management, you have to do something in hotel management. If you're studying marketing, you would have to do something in marketing. In this case, is your degree hotel management or business?
No, global business and marketing management.
Got it. So you would be able to do something in marketing, because business is very vague.
Yeah.
But in marketing, if you have let's say you have a minor in marketing, you could do marketing at a hotel. Right now, since COVID started, we don't have a lot of marketing positions outside of hotels, and we have very few inside hotels. If you are experienced with social media at all, we do have one position at the Intercontinental in San Francisco that's basically social media manager for 2 hotels in the city. But you have to be pretty experienced for that. That's a marketing role, but
So
it's more of a communication / marketing role.
you need to have already an internship in this sector.
Yes, or you must have managed social media platforms for, decently sized companies before. Yeah.
Okay.
Marketing positions are tricky because you do need experience. They wouldn't put you in charge of their social media.
Oh yeah, of
You're
course.
not, I mean, I would you?
No,
I
of
wouldn't.
course not.
And I understand that you need experience in order to gain experience, but that's the way it is, I'm afraid. Front office and food and beverage and your typical hotel positions are different because many hotels are more flexible.
But even in a hotel, it's not possible to get a position in marketing without experience. Of course, not managing social media, but starting position.
Maybe, but even if we do, they're not going to be like most of our clients in hotels have, 5, 6 openings in food and beverage, 3, 4 in front office, big hotels, one in banquets, one in events, one in, restaurant management, food and beverage, front office. They have everything. But for marketing, you might have one hotel in 20 that requires one marketing intern. It's very specific. And then you are competing with universities all over the world with
Yeah, of course.
some students who do have experience. So I want to be realistic. I don't want to kill your dreams. Your dreams are your dreams, and I support them. But I have to be realistic in what our clients are looking for. So I would have to look at your resume, and we would have to maybe talk a little deeper. And I can, quote unquote, sell you to the hotel, saying, "Oh, I spoke to Martina. She's great. She's done this. She's done that." And then maybe they would give you a chance. But you're competing with a lot of other people who might come with experience in marketing.
Yeah, of course.
But don't give up on that dream. Don't.
Thank you very much.
It's just we might not be able to help you. That's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the question. Simon, did I kind of cover it all? Was it clear to you? Because if it's not clear to you, it's not going to be clear to anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it already a
I
few
know,
times. So
1,000
I think for me, it
times.
should be clearer than for most of the others. But no, I think it was pretty clear there. And we will also share now a link in the chat in this presentation so that interested students, they can inform us what they would be looking for.
Okay.
And then we would forward that information to you along with their CV. Yeah, Ms. Gonzalez just shared it. So students, yeah, feel free to open it, fill it out, and then your information is going to be shared with Global Monday. And then an interview can be arranged where you could discuss deeper,
Perfect.
what they would be looking for.
Perfect.
But I hope we would have 1 or 2 more questions.
Sorry, before we move to the questions, if you can please fill it up during the weekend and on Monday. So at the beginning of next week, I can share it with them already. So you can start with the interview. So I give you like 3 days, including, so today, the whole weekend and Monday. And then by Monday evening, please.
Perfect. And remember, you don't pay anything until we find you a position and you want. So there's no kind of commitment, except that we ask only like serious candidates who are really serious in doing this to approach us and get started. We've had, unfortunately, some cases of people who went through the entire process, and we tell them that's one of the things that our agreement says is, please only apply to positions that you're really interested in. Don't just see what's out there and, okay, I'll interview with this, I'll interview with that. We don't want to waste our clients' time. But if you're really interested in something and you want that interview and we get you the interview, please make sure you're responsible enough as to show up to the interview, show up prepared, because you're representing yourself, your country, and your university. So we don't want clients to come and say, "Oh, we don't want students from Simon anymore. They don't dress up for the interview, or they don't know how to interview, or they weren't prepared." So, but we help you with that as well. No more questions?
Okay, Carlos,
Okay.
no, I think
Okay.
maybe it's not going to be the case. I mean, if something would come up, they can always message
Of
us and
course,
we
of
would
course.
clarify it with you.
Of course.
So yeah,
And someone
just
you can
think-
type the questions too if you're shy enough, and it's okay to be shy. Just type the question and we'll take care of it. Or email us. Just give them my email. We'll talk on email. But thank you for coming. Thank you for taking your Friday afternoon when you should be out there celebrating the weekend.